My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Welcome back, folks. Let me ask you this. Have you ever heard of student rentals as an asset class? Of course you have. If you've been around this show, I've interviewed a number of student rental operators over the years, and today we've got Dan McMullen coming in, who is an experienced real estate entrepreneur. He's also got a lot of experience when it comes to student rentals, and Dan and his partners do things a little bit differently because they're really focused on what he calls high-end student rentals. So Dan, welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Excited to be here and diving into this conversation.
All right, very good. So first things first, can you give us a little 30,000 foot snapshot on what you're up to, what your real estate investing looks like these days?
Yeah, so just buy and holds. Student rental is my primary focus. We've been doing it since 2019, so we're into, I guess, our 5th year now. And I say we, best friend Ryan and brother Jeff. So we set out in 2019 to do 3 houses in 3 years, and we accomplished that in 2 years back then. So right now we're just focusing on operating the current portfolio. It's going fantastic, full. The student rentals are full, and the demand is definitely there.
Oh, that's awesome. So Dan, tell me a little bit, what is your definition of high-end student rentals, and how does that contrast with traditional student rentals?
When you walk into the house, we are selling to parents. When the parents walk into the house, the parents envision themselves living there. So the kitchens are nice, they're clean, they're modern, the rooms are big. Making sure that we have a common space, roughly 4 bedrooms per common space, multiple bathrooms in the house. So we have 8 bedroom houses. 3 bathroom is very, very important. So really just making sure that there's common spaces. We have a kitchenette in each one of our basements. So you're not allowed to have another stove, but we have a kitchenette with fridge, countertops, water, sort of wet bar, etc. So yeah, just the amenities that you wouldn't expect in maybe a traditional or an older student rental.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So walk me through that. What does it typically look like? What kind of a house? How many square feet altogether? What did it look like when you bought it? Was it already a student rental, or did you guys convert these into student rentals?
Yeah, so the first one back in 2019, it was actually an illegal duplex at the time, and someone had called into the city and complained, and the owners, instead of complying to the city, just wanted to get rid of it. So our timing was great. We scooped in. It was a bungalow, 2 up, 2 down, and we just saw potential, and we turned the 2 up, 2 down into 5 up and 3 down on the bungalow side. And we actually took, it might be hard for your listeners to envision, but there was we walked into the garage, and the garage had an 18-foot ceiling in the garage.
Wow.
So I stood under the garage.
Like the guys had RVs or something like that. That's what
well, it was just the configuration of the landscape of this house. So very, very quickly, what we ended up doing was we actually put a room in the ceiling of the garage.
Yeah.
So we blew a hole through the living room, and we actually fabricated. We had a steel beam. We engineered with the engineers this new room. So it was really, really creative, and it was pretty cool experience being our first.
So did you turn the garage into a couple more rooms as well, or keep it as the bottom part of the garage?
Double car garage underneath. It was big enough where we still have 10 feet of headroom in the garage. So really what we're doing is, these are big footprints on these houses. Like we're looking for 2,000 to 2,500 square feet. So we really can start building out the number of rooms in here. And really important to note, these are legal student rentals. So I'm a teacher by day and real estate investor by night. I have a family. So I want to make sure that everything I do is on side, fire department compliant, and really on the up and up. So the city of Peterborough that we work with is great because they offer actually a licensed that we can apply for and obtain.
I'm just wondering, like the neighbor, the neighbor, the neighbors were complaining about somebody living in an illegal basement suite on that property. That you guys buy it and plug in 8 university students. I wonder how they felt about that.
Yeah, you know what? We try our best, and we have had complaints before, and really it's just neighbors seeing multiple cars in the driveway. And I've received calls from bylaw, and it's a simple, hey, we have a license. Are they doing anything that we should know about? And they say no, a neighbor's just seeing a lot of activity in the house. And we have a license to operate. So, there is a stigma around student housing,
Yeah.
but
The animal house stigma. That's what the stigma
yes,
is around
yes.
student housing. Yeah.
But we really try, when we say high end, we really try and find the studious, as much of the studious students as we can, and
Yeah.
less of the partiers as may. So
Well, it makes sense. Plus, I think one of the big advantages is it's actually mom and dad that are on the hook for their university age students that are staying, kids that are staying with you.
and that's what I do. The first when students come through the house and they say we're really excited, or parents come through, we take all the contact information, and I do my due diligence by introducing myself to all the parents, making phone calls, because they're the ones signing the checks and footing the bill. So
Yeah.
we do our background research on that.
So what have been some of your biggest learnings from this whole experience, Dan, with high-end student rentals? Like what kind of pops out in your mind that you weren't thinking of when you first got into this, but it kind of came up somewhere along the line?
Well, if you can look back at the timing of when I started, it was 2019, 2020. So we got a quick deep end ride into a world event, COVID. So it was expect the unexpected, certainly. I think you know what? One of the biggest things I learned, and I think it's fitting right now, I didn't expect interest rates to go up as
Mm,
quickly as they did. And
yeah.
I wish I had locked into a fixed rate at the time or earlier. So, one thing I will never do again is I won't listen to the news anymore as far as, when rates will go up or down. So just really making sure I have a long-term plan that fits for the house is really, really important. So that's one. And two, things cost more when it comes to renovation. Just plan for more. If it's a $40,000 renovation, plan for 50 or 55, because
Yeah.
things come up. I'm sure many people have described on your show.
Yeah, for sure, Dan. Well, that's very interesting. Logistically, how does it work with your student rentals? How do you keep them filled year round? Do you, is it like a year long lease with your students, or is it by semester? How do you guys run that?
Timing is everything we do, Dave, is very, very intentional. And it's by plan. So the timing is very important when it comes to tenanting. We are starting to have conversations with our tenants, our current tenants, in November, saying, hey, are you going to be back for the following year? Are you going to re-up? If you don't know, please start thinking, because come December, January, we want an answer on whether you're going to be back. And they don't have to give us an answer, but we can definitely ask, because the best students, the keen students, the studious students are looking for accommodations 6 months prior. So they start looking for their accommodations in November, December, January. So we
Yeah.
want to make sure we have the best students going into our houses. So we're advertising and having those conversations early with our current tenants.
So do you rent it by the semester, by the year?
Sorry, I didn't answer your question there. It was May to May. So we do May 1st to April 30th of the following year. So
Okay.
1 year leases.
So whether they
And
stay over the summer or not, they're still renting it over the summer, basically.
correct. Yep. And we I don't know we don't do subletting. We don't allow that. I know that might be a bit of a gray area on the leases, but we do that because we want to we don't feel it's fair if we do really hard work making sure we get the greatest tenants in, and we wouldn't think it's fair for people to just bring in another tenant that
Yeah.
hasn't been screened and that hasn't sort of been yeah, that we
Vetted.
haven't
Yeah.
gotten to know.
Yeah.
So that's very important.
Okay. Very cool, Dan. So you're doing this business with, is it your brother and a friend or?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So brother and best friend. Yep.
Yeah. So how does that work? How did you divvy things up? Who does what? Two's company, three's a crowd. How are you guys avoiding those kind of challenges?
So we're a really well-oiled machine. We all have a different skill set. I'm the people person. I do a lot of the tenant screening, talking to parents, the people person. My brother's really good on the tools. So he's fantastic when something breaks, he's there. And then my best bud, he's really good working with municipalities and townships.
Hmm.
So when it comes to licensing and when it comes to permits, et cetera. So we kind of have a well-oiled machine there. As far as the back end, we decided that each one of us would take ownership of a house. So I owned the first one, friend owned the second one, brother owned the third one, and then we did a joint venture agreement on the back end,
Hmm.
just to of any out clauses that we needed. So that's pretty standard, and we all share an accountant. So we all have the same accountant. All the information gets pooled to the one place, and the accountant has gotten to know us and our operating procedures, and it makes it very seamless.
So each property's in a different partner's name, but
Correct.
you've got an agreement, so you're kind of doing a profit share on the entire portfolio.
That's
Am I
right.
getting
So, yep, exactly. So, tax season comes around, all the information goes to the accountant. They do their work. Taxes get divvied up. We do profit sharing. So we're not in a corporation. We're just under a personal name, but we
Yeah.
do quarterly cash flow profit sharing. So that's how that works. Because quite often we'll have an AC that goes down, or we've had raccoons in both our houses, so we've had to have them removed. So costs come up, and so
Yeah.
we have to take care of that.
Yeah. Very cool. So what are you guys planning as a group moving ahead? Are you just kind of focused on the existing portfolio? You're looking to add on more properties? Where do you guys see your portfolio going over the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, we're really watching right now. We're just sort of in a transition. Things are nice and tidy. Everything is full, it's good, but I do think we want to add. So we're definitely we're looking for that perfect property. Maybe we'll see what rates do and
Mhm.
prices. That being said, timing for our purchase. So any of your listeners, this is very important as well. The timing for a purchase is very important to get the best tenants. If our motto on a brand new purchase, we purchase in August, and we take possession in October, and we renovate November, December, January, February. So we renovate over the winter time, and then we have the students move in for May 1st. So one of the downsizes to that is you're having to carry the property for sort of 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
But one of the upside of that is we're able to get a group of 8 students coming in at one time. So we get a lineup of these 8 pack of students saying, we want your brand new house. And we get the very best pick of those tenants. I've had colleagues or friends who have tried to purchase in the spring and tenant right before the school year.
Yeah.
And they're not getting the best tenants because those are the latecomers. Those are the scramblers. Those are the
Yeah.
tenants that haven't found a place, and they're looking. So this is just the experience we've gained over the years.
Oh, that's good experience for sure. What are you doing in addition to real estate and teaching? What else you got on the go, Dan?
Lots on the go. I have, so I'm a teacher. I'm a high school phys ed teacher and business teacher in Markham, Ontario. I have a podcast called Beyond the Bell Lifestyle Design for Canadian Teachers. So I've been doing that with my co-host Anuja Pereira for a couple of years now. I run a small mastermind, virtual mastermind called Cash Flow Crew, and we do virtual meetings once a month. We bring on experts, whether they're expert in real estate, Bitcoin, NFTs, just a real good learning experience. So I have that up and running. And a couple of years back, I started doing, became a life insurance advisor and doing whole life insurance, and actually doing some infinite banking. And I'm sure you've heard about that. But I've sort of really started focusing on cottage owners and trying to help doing cottage legacy planning and how to help cottagers with capital gain planning, property tax planning. So using whole life insurance to try and really support family cottages. So that's something I've been building out of late, and I have an Instagram account.
Why is that important, Dan?
The traditional family cottages are really at risk of being priced out, because these cottages were purchased, let's say 20, 25 years ago for $250,000, and capital gains on a $250,000
or 50 years ago for $40,000.
For exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm a cottager myself. I bought into my family cottage in 2015. The family cottage was built in 1934. So I come from generations of cottagers.
Yeah.
And one of the problems when we have the price jump that we've had, your capital gains has gone from maybe being tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. And what I'm fearful for is families will be forced to sell these family cottages when the time is for them to transition, whether that's a death in the family or whether that's time for a grandparent to sell it to their children. There's going to be a capital gains hit. And even in real estate, all of our real estate properties are going to be susceptible to capital gains. So what we're doing is the whole model, I don't want to get too into the weeds because I know sideways, but I'll be really quick. The whole model that we're trying to do is get life insurance, permanent life insurance product on every generation of the family. So the parents, the kids, the grandchildren, and as each generation passes through the cottage, a death benefit will pay out to help pay for the cottage expenses.
I see. Okay. That's a good explanation in a nutshell. Awesome, Dan. Well, if people want to connect with you, where should they go? What should they do?
Yeah, so definitely I have email address is dan@returnonlife.ca. I have a couple different Instagram accounts, Dan McMullen Lifestyles, and I have a Cottage Legacy Fund Instagram account as well. So please reach out. Happy to talk student rentals, happy to talk real estate, just happy to help. So yeah, and if anyone wants to join my mastermind group, reach out as well. We're always accepting great people.
Awesome. This has been great, Dan. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you on the next episode. Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now, at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.